Hello and welcome to Tableau Tips, Tricks and Techniques. My name is Anna Yin and I'll be your friend and guide throughout this course, taking you on a journey to hone and fine-tune your Tableau skills. Before we dive into the course content, I'd like to take a few moments to introduce myself. I'm a senior consultant and Tableau certified trainer at Trident, a boutique data consultancy and Tableau partner. 80% of my time is spent on client sites where I let the creative juices flow by authoring dashboards for my clients. And the other 20% involves me flying across Asia Pacific, training people on how to use Tableau in the in-classroom training sessions and customer on-sites. I've authored dashboards intended for anyone from the marketing manager of a shopping centre company to the CEO of a multinational construction, property and infrastructure company. So it's safe to say that I've accumulated a bucket load of tips, tricks and techniques over the past 3 years. My career has been anything but linear, as I was originally a student of architecture. Somewhere along the line, I've swapped out 3D architectural drafting software for the best visual analytics software currently on the market. If you'd like to get in touch, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. We're going to kick off the course with Section 1, Introduction to Tableau Foundations. We'll talk about what are dimensions and measures, what's discrete versus continuous, and combined axis versus dual axis. The theoretical component of the course is limited to only Section 1 as we move on to all of the practical tips and tricks from Section 2 onwards. In Section 2, we'll warm up with a simple KPI display using up and down arrows before transitioning to the more complex techniques, culminating in the use of table calculations to compare actual against prior period on a sparkline. Then on to Section 3, Tricks on Visualizing Breakdowns of a Whole. I'll introduce you to a few alternate chart types that you can apply to part-to-whole analyses that isn't the pie chart. Again, the section starts off easy with tree maps, slowly transitioning onto dynamic donut charts and culminates in a technique which allows you to unstack selected elements of a stacked bar chart. In Section 4, Tips on Working with Customer and Survey Data. We'll talk about ways to segment customers based on common characteristics. Learn an advanced chart type called the Likert scale chart, which is perfect for displaying survey data. And finish with how to incorporate basic statistical analysis with survey data. Moving on to Section 5, Visualizing a defined subset of your data. Expect to be shown when to use groups and when best to use sets to define a subset of your data. The section finishes with a very specific example inspired by a client of mine where they needed to display their university ranking against a dynamic top N university. In Section 6, expect a demo of a handful of new features that came out as part of the version 2018.3 and version 2019.1, including but not limited to practical use cases of set actions, new dashboard buttons, and improvements to nested sorts. And finally, we'll close the course with Section 7, Dashboard Tips and Tricks. You'll be learning about how to use parameters for sheet swapping, how to use dummy worksheets to display color legends and exclude filter values. The course finishes with a real-life example inspired by a client of mine who needed to force pre-aggregated data to behave like non-aggregated data. But more on that later. Now that you have a glimpse of what to expect, let's talk briefly about what the goal of the course is. The goal of this course is to equip you with the right techniques so that by the end of the course, you'll be comfortable applying theory to practice. The course is jam-packed with real-life use cases that I've collected through a mixture of project work and student questions from my training courses. So who exactly is the course for, and are there any prerequisites? From the Tableau newbie, to the intermediate user who's keen on adding new chart types under their belt, to the advanced user who wants a deep dive into the inner workings of the tool, to the data scientist, or anyone who wants to get familiar with the latest interface and features, you'll find a topic to suit your flavour. If you're completely new to Tableau, know that each section is structured so that we warm up with the easiest techniques before building up to the more complex scenarios. This is to make it easier for you to follow along. The prerequisite is that you have the software downloaded, hopefully the latest version, that being version 2019.1. But most importantly, that you have fun and be eager to learn. Let's get started.